Good afternoon, grown folks. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I should say good evening because it is evening time. Come on in, come on in, come on in. So today, as you can see in the title, I'm going to talk about adjusting the dating picker. And this pillow is in my way. And it's important to adjust the dating picker now more than ever. I decided on this title because, 1 second, I'm trying to see. Okay. I decided on this title because I came across a live today, and the title was why should broke men date? And then it was a subcaption, if you will, and why do men want wife behavior, but they're not making the women a wife? Basically, that was the gist of it. And so I kind of chilled out, and the comments came in. Tap the screen. Welcome to the live. Please tap the screen. I do have a 10K goal. I don't expect just one person to do that. So, but each tap puts me closer to my goal. And I've learned that they can come really quickly. The goals can be achieved really quickly. So tapping the screen really helps out. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. So when I walked into the room, there was a conversation going on, and there was mention of a woman who was holding a man down while he went to medical school. And was that considered her dating a brokey? And it prompted me to just really revisit what that means, dating a brokey, right? What dating a brokey means in today's times, and what dating a brokey could have meant in my time. I just think if we assess people and we put a person's value in his wallet, then we could find ourselves in a trick bag every time. Welcome to the live. Thank you. Please tap the screen. It costs you nothing, but it shows engagement and helps the live get out. You can share. So for me, I think that's the baseline. The baseline is, what kind of guys are you picking, and why are you picking them, right? And so there was a whole lot of mention of women dating guys who they were broke, they didn't have any money in the bank, they got them pregnant, and just left them as baby mamas, right? And that in and of itself is problematic for me. I believe that it's easy for any of us as women to trust love, to believe in a promise, and get duped. Please tap the screen. Help me to reach my tap goal. Tapping costs you nothing, but it goes a long way for engagement. So welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. We're just kind of casually talking. I'm just casually talking about us as sisters primarily, and it applies to guys too. I was on a live with a sister and a brother, and they talked about their single journey. But we have to adjust our pickers, right? So we have to first set our boundaries. Our boundaries are for us. Our boundaries are not for anyone else. Our boundaries are for us, and it is for us to reinforce. We must stand 10 toes down in those boundaries. We can't just let somebody bulldoze over them and do nothing. We must come with those boundaries prepared to enforce them. If you don't enforce them, people will walk all over you, and you don't want people walking all over you. Then you need to set boundaries and enforce them. That's number one. Number two is, don't put a person's value in their wallet. There is a whole lot of good guys out here. In this particular live, they were literally talking about a man who was in medical school to become a doctor, a medical physician, and the woman that supported him while he was doing it, and saying that she had to go through struggle, and why men can't just wait until they finish before they date. They shouldn't be dating this, that, and the other if you don't have it all together right now. I think culture is a beast, and it has people thinking that everybody is supposed to be all perfect and put together. And I think we have too much access to celebrities, and we get to see their lifestyle. We get to see the gifts they buy, and the Mercedes or the Maybach or whatever with the bow on it. And so we begin to rationalize that we deserve that too. And there's nothing wrong with having hefty dreams and hefty goals and hefty desires in a relationship, but we also have to be realistic, right? And there's a large percentage of men who are good guys, who work good jobs, who have good benefits, that may not have made the six-figure mark, but they are consistent in their work. So they have made multiple six figures, and they are actually wholesome people, right? I think we're putting the focus on all the wrong things, right? Find out what that man's heart is like. Find out what his character is like. Find out if he has a career or just a job. Does he work in culinary one day and work as a plumber the next day? That would be a person that's unstable, and maybe you probably shouldn't jump in with both feet and allow yourself to get pregnant by him. I'm just saying. No judgment. But I think we just have to have these conversations and be a little realistic with ourselves and one another. I think it's not fair to put so much pressure on men that they have to earn over six figures, like out the gate. He better earn six figures. I want him 6 figures and 6 feet. And you're cutting off your blessings, honey, because now you're doing God's work, right? I just think it's just so much negativity coming from culture and in how it's impacting relationships. And so one of the first things you want to do is set your boundaries and make sure you're prepared to enforce them, right? Pick a person that has character. Don't worry about how much money he has. If your only goal in a relationship is to bag someone that got a couple dollars, then you already lost. Share a true story with you. We were preparing for our vow renewal, and we went to a big mall near us, right? And so I went to find a dress, so I separated from my husband, and he went to take my Pandora bracelet to get clean. And so when he bought the bracelet, I actually created a list of all of the charms that I would like, because the bracelets are intended to be personalized, right? And so I had given him the list, and never was it intended that he buy everyone on the list. It was just to give him a roadmap. If he were ever to buy or gift more charms, he would know to gift charms that I would be interested in, right? And so he goes in Pandora to get my bracelet cleaned, and he begins to buy charms. Now, mind you, I'm not with him. So I finished searching for a dress. Lo and behold, I finished before he did. Y'all know, ladies, that it's not easy for us to finish shopping before the fellas. Thank you so much. Forgive me, I am visually impaired, but it looked like Will's. Thank you so much for being my number one gifter. Please tap the screen. It costs you nothing. I just come in tapping. I get the daily heartbeat and try to give traction to a live when I come on it. But okay, so my husband, he goes, he's in the Pandora. I walk in the store. The lady turns around, well, young woman turns around and said, "And you are?" And I responded, "The wife." And I looked at him and I looked at her like, what in the Sam Hill was going on here? And she was like, "Oh, you're the wife? This is your wife?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she said, "Oh, he must really love you. He just bought you the queen bee and all these other charms." And I was like, "Okay, thanks, babe." And so she's in the process of putting my bracelet back together. And she is telling me the charms he bought. And what he ended up doing, I might have had about 8 charms on the list. He bought all 8 of the charms, right? And so I didn't know he was going to do that. It wasn't even our anniversary yet. So In fact, he's great. He's arriving home, as a matter of fact. And so I knew that interaction was off, right? My husband was smart because he didn't say anything until we got to the car. He was like, that young girl was like doing the most. So first it was another customer service rep working with him. And she was like, oh, can I work with him, please? And he heard that. And so they was like, okay. So he switched. I mean, they switched. And so now this girl is working with him. She's young, probably early 20s. Hair pulled back, nice braided hair, though, you can see. Beautiful young woman, right? But he says she asked him, oh, darn, you getting all these for your girlfriend? He said, for my wife. And so she was like, oh, well, can I be your mistress? And he asked her, why would you want to be my mistress? And her response was what threw me. She said, because you have on a Gucci belt and I can tell it's real. That was her response. Her response to why she would want to reduce herself to being a mistress was because he had on a Gucci belt that she could tell was real. And so he said to her, like, don't reduce yourself like that, right? But my takeaway from that is these young girls got the game messed up. Because let me tell you something. Just because a man has a Gucci belt on doesn't mean he's going to buy you one. Just because he has on a Gucci belt doesn't mean he has character. Just because he's buying gifts for his wife doesn't mean that he will buy gifts for you. The moment a man tells you he has a wife, you should be running the opposite way. Period. Don't let a man tell you that he's married and you say okay and proceed with the conversation. Your next response after a man tells you he's married should be, okay, nice meeting you. I wish you all the best. Thanks for joining the live. Please tap the screen. I'm not getting no taps. I see y'all coming in, but I would love if you tap the screen. It helps me get some traction with the live. Thank you so much. But yeah, what would you gain from being someone's mistress? Heartache? Being second fiddle? Feeling like you're better than because he's with you when he's with you? Come on now, we have to change our pickers. And there are a lot of sisters that will go into situationships with someone that they know is not fully emotionally or physically available because they're married, or they don't even ask questions. We're not even asking enough questions, ladies. And we're allowing ourselves to share the most vulnerable parts of ourselves with a person, with a human being that we know nothing about. Sometimes these men are married and they can fool you long enough to get your golden jewels because you didn't even inquire. We have to change our picker. So anyone who's unavailable, whether they're married, whether they're in a relationship, whether they're separated, they're not available. Move on. You are setting yourself up for heartache if you think that coming into a relationship or starting off something with a man that tells you he's already with someone, you're sadly mistaken if you think that's going to end well for you. And that mentality of thinking that you're better than the wife or the girlfriend that he's actually stepping out on, that she's so horrible. She could be booty butt naked with a rose in her mouth doing backflips at the stove with a cast iron skillet cooking from scratch. If he's gonna cheat, It's a character flaw. It's a character flaw. You'll never find a man that tells you, I have a wife at home. She's the love of my life. She gives me what I need when I need it. She supports me in everything I do. I love her to pieces. I'm not leaving her, but I do want to smash you occasionally. You're not going to get that kind of realness from any man. And so you'll be foolish, absolutely foolish, to give yourself to a man. Please tap the screen. Thank you for joining. Foolish to give yourself to someone that is already committed. That's the first error. And too many people that I know personally, or I know those who are children of women who moved that way, women who actually went after married men, got pregnant with married men, and was upset when married man decided he was not leaving that relationship. He wasn't going to leave his wife. He was going to make his marriage work. She thought that she was going to be the next wife. She thought that she was better than. She thought she was filling in the gaps. And she was getting played. And now she has a child that she has to raise on her own. And when that child starts asking questions, now she's lying and saying that she was great or something worse. Dad is not alive. Dad is in jail. Dad is a deadbeat. All these things that just impact the baby's self-esteem. Hold for 1 second, because my husband just walked in the door and I need to address him. One more. Hello, darling. Kiss me. So, yeah, don't play yourself starting out a situationship under those circumstances. That's the first thing that you're doing wrong. That's the first thing you're doing wrong. You need to make sure that a man is available. Please tap the screen for me. I would greatly appreciate it. Tapping the screen shows engagement, and it also helps other people to get access to the content. If you're interested in it, someone else may want to be interested in it too. You can click the share. Click the copy link, and it will register as you shared it if you don't care to share it to your page. But I appreciate the engagement. And it will register as you shared it if you don't care to share it to your page. But I appreciate the engagement. Yes, so it is important to ask questions. Important to not be a weekend lover. Some of these sisters are being flown out. Well, guess what happens when you're being flown out? Sometimes you're being flown right into a hotel that's close to where he lives with his wife and his kids. Sometimes. I've known that to happen too. And that particular person that I'm referencing, she knew she was flying in to see a married man. She knew it. She thought she was the better woman. She thought she was the bigger woman. She thought she was the prettier woman. She thought she was the more engaging woman. If you go downstairs, can you put the blanket in the dryer, please? She thought she was the better woman. Guess what? She got played. Because while he did leave his wife, he is now married to someone else. He didn't marry her. He didn't marry her. We have to change our picker. We should be asking questions. If you can only see a person in the daytime. Here's another one that just boggles my mind why anyone would want to date this character. I work a lot, so I really don't have much time for dating. Then don't come over here with me. I like time. I like quality time with my dude. So if you don't have that to give, why would I put myself in a situation to fall for you? And to use my terms, you would be the one I like. No. I literally had a brother that was really, really handsome. Beautiful smile. Met him at a happy hour. I hadn't met him yet. I literally identified him like he is handsome as ever. Pulled out a business card. Wrote on the back of the business card, "You have a beautiful smile. Are you with woman?" So he works his way over to me, and first the sister next to me had the nerve to say, "I know you're not about to give that card to who I think you're about to give it to." Well, huh? First of all, why are you over my shoulder looking at what I'm writing on the card? That's another Jerry Springer. However, so I give him the card when he comes over. I don't make a special trip over there or anything. When he navigates his way over near me to go to the restroom or whatever he was doing, I handed him the card. And so it prompts him prompted him to come over and engage in conversation. And he said, what's that mean? Are you with women? That's different. Do you have a woman, a wife, a girlfriend, fiance, crazy ex? Are you attached to a woman? Are you with a woman in any way? Can a woman claim you in any way? If yes, that's not my twist. So he said, I'm married, but I'm separated. And I said, okay, it was nice meeting you. And I tell you, from this time, for years after, he would say, like, can I take you to dinner? Can I take you to lunch? Why are you doing me like this? But da 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 da. Because I have nothing to say to a man that's still married. No. Now, this predates my husband, of course. This hasn't been since I've been with my husband. I've been with my husband 25 years. 25. Married 22 of them. Hey, sis. Hey, Mel. Thanks for joining. Yes, so I've been with my husband 25 years. Married to him 22 in September. So this predates that. But this gentleman continued to ask me, can I take you out? 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 And I continued to say no. Please tap the screen for me, y'all, so I can get some engagement going. It helps to help my engagement, and it doesn't cost you anything. But yeah, thank you, sis. So this guy kept asking me, can he take me out? And then I hadn't seen him for a long stretch. In that stretch, I meet my husband. We date. We marry. We're pregnant. Our first year of marriage. Literally planned. And thanks, Mel. While we're planned, finance layer, I should say. While I'm pregnant, I used to go dip to this spot to get salmon nuggets. So that was my guilty pleasure. So I would sneak in. I would go before happy hour. So once everybody came in with the I didn't want to be around all that, I would leave. So he caught me one day. He was like, oh my goodness, you're pregnant. And I was like, yeah. He was like, I saw you with this guy and I knew he must have been something special because I never seen you with nobody before. And I was like, yeah, he was special. He was so special that's my husband and we are expecting our first child. And so he tells me, I was like, how you been? This and the other. He said, would you believe it? My wife is pregnant too. Your wife, the one you told me you were separated from? Really? She's pregnant too? Oh, okay, solid. And so he was like, yeah, I injured myself at work. And I had a coloscopy bag and I was all messed up. And she was the only one that would take care of me. She had my back. So we tried to get back together. We working it out. This and other. She got pregnant. I don't even care about everything in between was womp womp. I'm glad you're okay. Sorry to hear you hurt yourself. Glad you're okay. You got over that hurdle. But that's what happens, ladies. There is so much break up, make up. That separated thing, it means absolutely nothing. It could mean he moved out for a week. It could mean he just moved out for a week and he's sowing his oats. But he want to get with you, but he know he got to go back home. He know he going home to family. He ain't leaving his wife and he don't want his wife messing with nobody else. Don't do separate. That's right. Don't do separated. And then he said that she was pregnant too. She was pregnant too. So when I told him no, I wouldn't go out with him, he told me he was married. I was like, he's I'm married, but I'm separated. Yeah, nice meeting you. Never went out with him. Never. And I said, you would probably be the one I like. Why would I do that to myself? Why would I do that? And if I would have got myself caught up with him, I wasn't going to be wiping his butt and changing his coloscopy bag and we just in the dating phases. Absolutely not. Nope. That's married behavior. That's married behavior, which is why you'll see a lot of older guys getting married because they know that they need someone to have their back. They understand that they done all their playing. Now their health is catching up with them and not doing as well as they would like. And so they need to get themselves a wife. They play too much, for sure. for sure. But we have to change our pickers. We have to make sure we weed out those guys. And what easier way to eliminate someone from a dating pool than him saying that he's still married but separated? Married, girlfriend, fiance, whatever, on the out, we on the breakup, we taking time, I got a whole pair. All that jazz is a good way for you to weed out the foolery. Save yourself a whole lot of headaches. A whole lot of headaches. Yes. Yes. That's a term that I heard. I had not heard it before, but I thought it was like phenomenal. It's spot on. Looking for a nurse with a purse. That is what happens a lot of times. They flick off their lives like it doesn't matter, and then when they realize there's something else going on, now they want to lock down with some sister that's just thinking that they a knight in shining armor, and they come and they love him so much. And no, he was intentional. He was intentional. Not saying that that's everybody's story. There are some people that can get married later in life and it not have an underlying health issue as the catalyst. But we just have to be mindful to weed out foolery when we can. Ask questions. If you can never go to his house and he can only go to your house, that is a problem too. My husband literally played me like a fiddle. We were dating, we were double dating with a friend, and we were out having some drinks. And previously, I had let him stay at my house because I ain't want to be staying out at nobody else's house. I have a problem going to work from other people's house, but that's another Jerry Springer. So I told him this night, I was like, we're going to go to your house tonight. And he was like, my house? And started acting all paranoid. And I told my sister friend I was with, I was like, if I can't go to his house tonight, it's over. She was like, just like that? I said, just like that. Because I'm not going to play those games. I like him a lot. So if he can spend a night in my house, but I can't ever go to his house, then he's not the one for me. So we hung out. We went and got something to eat. And I was like, I told you. He was like, okay, we going to go back to your crib, right? No, we're not. We're going to your crib. And if we can't, it's a wrap. He took me in his crib. He took me to his crib. That was a requirement. And he told me he said, I was like, oh, it wasn't as decorated as mine was. And so he wasn't all proud of it or whatever. But I wasn't caring about that. I wasn't coming to see your furniture. I wasn't coming to see your decorations. I was coming to make sure that you literally had your own place and you were not staying with a woman. Period. Now, and today you got to make sure you're not staying with a man, but that's another Jerry Springer. I won't go down that road. Won't go down that rabbit hole today. But yeah, that was something that I was not fin to do, as they say it in the South. I wasn't finna do that at all. I wasn't. But had I not asked questions, transparency is important. And guess what? People don't even understand. I was honest with her, this, that, and other, but you were far from transparent. She didn't know what questions to ask. That's why transparency is important. When you're transparent, you're offering information before it's even asked of you. Just being honest is just answering the questions that's asked of you truthfully sometimes. But transparency is very, very important. And we have to learn, those of us anyone that's single, you have to learn to be patient and paced in your communication so that you can identify if you're getting transparency. Because the representative shows up for everybody in the beginning. In the beginning, if anybody's seen Bill Bellamy, if you know, you know, his comic strip about in the beginning how things are in relationships and marriages in the beginning. But in the beginning, you're going to get that representative. Another thing that we need to do to win at dating and changing our picker is making sure that we aren't doing all the talking. They will listen. Men that are praying, not playing, but praying. They praying because they playing, but that's another Jerry Springer. Men that are praying will listen to every word. They will listen and let you tell them exactly all the things that your ex did that you ain't like, that you ain't like that. Noted. I gotta make sure I don't do that. And it's in the beginning. I gotta make sure I don't do that before I get what I'm looking for. Don't give them the roadmap to your heart. Let them find it. Let them do some work to earn it. Let them put in the time and consistency. Now, on this other live today, we were talking, the question came up about marriage and things of that sort. And I explained that I never told my husband or gave him a deadline or anything for when he had to marry me. I didn't have to do that. But what I did do is I did not lie and pretend that I didn't want to be married. I actually said, I'm not a long-term girlfriend. I did that already. I did that through high school and college. I'm grown. At that point, I was 28 when I met my husband. Grown. I'm not playing for kicks. No. It's not for it and giggles. It's real. I don't even know if you can curse on here. I try not to curse, but hey, sometimes things happen. Thank you for joining, and thank you for tapping the screen. So I told him I'm not nobody's long-term girlfriend. And he made a mental note of that, and he moved accordingly. Hey, I like her. I think she's wife material. She's available. I need to get her off the market before someone else does. You will never be left wondering for a man that's interested in you. And fellas, the same applies. For a sister that's interested in you, you will never, ever be left wondering. Because they don't want somebody else to get you. They don't want to play no games. They be like, this is the one. I'm not playing no games. And if they feel compelled to play games, then they not ready. Because who got time for that? I'm not going to call him. I don't want him to think I like him. I don't want to. Who got time for that? If I'm thinking about you, I'm going to call you. If I call you, I'm going to leave a message. I'm not going to call and say he saw my number, so I'm going to just hang up, and then I'll wait and see if he calls me back. Girl, homeboy, stop it. Nobody has time for the games. It's too much vetting that needs to happen. You get with the wrong person, your life can go down quick. Your health can go down quick. You need to start vetting and picking people of value, of quality, of sound mind, of high integrity. Stop worried about what he making. That lie was talking about, oh, he broke. If he broke, he shouldn't be dating or whatever. Let me tell you something. My husband and I both had credit issues when we started dating. When we made the commitment, when he proposed and we made the commitment to get married, we pulled out, I requested to see the credit report. I need to see your credit report. I'm willing to share mine. For me, I wanted to make sure he had no tax liabilities, finance layer, you know what I'm talking about. Wanted to make sure he ain't owe the IRS. I wanted to make sure he ain't owe child support that tells me if you're a deadbeat. I needed to see this stuff. I needed to see it. Some people don't ask the right questions. We have to change our picker. We have to start vetting these guys or girls, if you're a fella and watching. We have to start vetting more deeply before we jump into things that are serious. You can't have my womb if you can't take care of your child that you already have. No, sorry, not happening. Some women need to be out here. If you got to get your little itch scratched, just double protect. Take a pill and use prophylactics. Magnums work fine. But you cannot subject yourself to the possibility of having a child with someone that you don't know if he has kids or you don't know if he's taking care of his kids. So my husband and I, we got our credit reports together, and then we checked off what we were going to pay in the way we were going to pay it, the order we was going to pay it in. But guess what God had told me? God told me that my husband was going to be the person to buy our first house, that it was going to be all him. And I didn't understand that. What do you mean it's all him? I'm used to having my own. Like, how it's going to be all him? Like, my name not supposed to be on a mortgage? Like, God talks to me and I'm like asking him questions because that's what we do. But guess what? I was married. I had our baby. We had our baby in our first year. And we were still in our apartment. So I told my husband, when I have a child, I need to be home. And guess what? He made that happen. So I was home. And thus, us buying our first home, it was all him. Because my income wasn't included because I didn't have an income. I was a stay-at-home mom. I'm not judging anybody that did their process differently. What I'm saying is it is possible to have a Planned Parenthood and not be thrust into parenthood because you had an oops with a person that you thought was into you and he wasn't. That's what I'm saying. We have to vet. We have to slow down the pace. And we have to speak what our heart desires. I'll never forget Joy Behar announced that she married her husband after being with him 27 years. And I said, I could not be with a man 27 years. I said, no man would get this milk for 27 years. It just wouldn't happen. I am not wired that way. I'm not judging Joy. Joy's still with her husband. They are still happy. What works for them works for them, as is applicable to everybody else. I hope me rocking is not bothering y'all, but I'm sitting in my husband's rocking chair. But yeah, if that works for them, that works for them, not for me. So I posted that and somebody came for me like, people crack me up. Everybody don't want to be married. I've been with mine for X amount of years and we good. He was married before. I was married before. We don't want to be married. Okay, well, why am I triggering you so bad? Why you coming under my comment to say all that? And I knew this person. We were friendly on social media. We were connected as social media friends, right? And I swear it wasn't even a year later, I don't think, but it was like, I'm getting married. I'm about to flood your timeline. But what I said was, in the comments that really triggered, I believe, was that many sisters will pretend that marriage is not their end goal because they don't want to mess up the flow. Or we just kicking it. We everything flowing. Don't mess up the flow. Let's just see where it goes. I'm not a kid. Not just seeing where it goes with somebody that may not ever have an intention on marrying me. So I'm just not supposed to talk about it or mention it at all. No, ladies, we have to mention it. I'm not a long-term girlfriend is the way I said it. But the way you could say it is, what are your thoughts on marriage? If he says, well, I just see, no, I don't really see myself in that. Walk. If you want to be married, don't even allow your heart to get attached to somebody like that. You're asking for pain and heartache. Don't do it. Don't do it. There was the conversation. Please tap the screen for those that are still here. I have a hefty goal of 10K likes. 10K taps. I don't expect one person to get me there, but I know that when I walk in a room, I tap, I get the daily heart me and send that, just to give support when I engage with someone on their live. If I'm feeling it, I stick around and show some love. And I do that by tapping because I know it costs nothing, but it really helps with the algorithms. So I just tap the screen and keep tapping. That's what I do. That's what I do to help people in their quest to get more. But yeah, so the conversation also came up of Halle Berry. So Halle Berry, as many know, famous actress, gorgeous, beautiful face card every time. And she has been married 2 or 3 times already. And I think all of her marriages ended tumultuously. And I'm hearing that she was made to pay alimony or some type of settlement to those that she divorced from. So her new man of 5 years proposed. That's right. I desire marriage, but not so much that I'm willing to relax my standards. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't at all. Now, Hallie's story was just recently her dude of 5 years proposed, and she said no. And so a lot of people were saying he's dumb. I would never be able to be with her. This, that, and the other. And that's their personal thing, right? For me, I'm a spiritual person. My relationship with God also says that I'm not supposed to be nobody's long-term girlfriend. So that would be a conflict for me. So if it was a conflict for him, if he's trying to do the right thing, if he's trying to be a Christian and he wants to do the right thing and he wants to not shack, he wants to make her a wife and all those things, all the things, then he has a decision to make. He has a decision to make whether or not he wants to continue on with that relationship. You okay? You trying to walk fast? He has to decide whether he wants to continue on with that relationship. He does. And she might have to decide, why am I saying no? Is it totally financial? I personally think that she doesn't trust her picker. I think she doesn't trust her own picker. She has picked 3 husbands in the past that were not long-lasting. They were not beneficial to her. They did not end well. And so she feels like, why should I keep paying for my picker being wrong? When I think that she needs to change her picker and align with God. So another way that you can know if a man is worth being with, is he getting you closer to God? If the answer is no, run. If the answer is no, then run. Period. I just want to say y'all should follow Finance Slayer. She is a CPA, a tax accountant. So if ever you need tax help, Finance Slayer is a reputable business in the Philadelphia area. You can follow her here. She gives great tax tips. And she also has been breaking down the big ugly bill. I refuse to call it beautiful, but she calls it by its name so people can make reference. I respect that. But she gives the financial breakdown on that. I love to give people their roses. So she came and she is rocking with me today. So it's only right that I tell her to tell you to follow her, because we may find ourselves needing a good tax accountant. I found myself in that situation. My accountant moved to Mexico. I was like, are you serious? And she moved to Mexico, and she was only taking businesses at that point, and so we had to find a new accountant. It was kind of wild, but yeah, that was our story. What does that say? Yeah, that's interesting. I'm looking at the things that are coming up on the screen. It's interesting. I'm new to live on TikTok. I've gone live on Instagram many times. I've gone live on Facebook a couple times, but I'm relatively new to live on I'm on TikTok. I've done it a few times, but not as versed in it. So I'm still learning all the things. It reminds me of Bigo, actually. But yeah, so Holly, she's within her right to say that she doesn't want to jump in a marriage just as much as that man is in his right to say that I don't want to be with someone that doesn't want to accept my proposal. Do you take me serious? Don't be nervous. It's some weirdos that be in the comments, but Finance Slayer says she's nervous about going live. Don't be nervous. Just do it. Just do it. You have content to share. Like right now, I'm beat. My hair is a mess. I wore myself out. I I was in a battle with a watermelon that was huge, and I was stubborn. I didn't want to wait for my husband to come back. And this was my first time ever cutting a watermelon because I haven't had to. And so I did it today, and that thing wore me out. If anybody knows, I have a bad back. And the first thing it did when I took it out the refrigerator was fall on the floor. I was like, Sugarfoot. It had to be like 30 pounds. That thing was heavy. It was heavier than a baby. I was like, good God Almighty. And then I went to put a load in the wash and dropped something on my toe. I just curled up in his little rocking chair and was like, this is where I'll sit until he gets home. He is literally in there cooking now. I feel bad. I'm going to have to get off and go help him put something together. He might just be heating up something. We're empty nesters now. Thank you so much. I'm trying to see that name. Forgive me, I am visually impaired. Segun, thank you so much. Please tap the screen for me, y'all. Tap the screen. That costs nothing. And you can help me get to my goal. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, so we have to change our pickers. We have to change what we're looking for in people, and we have to change ourselves. And sometimes that means standing in accountability for what we could have done differently in a previous relationship, what we may have done wrong. Sometimes that's a reflection point, but I often tell people when you get out of a relationship, particularly if it was I tapped my own screen, ain't that something? If you get out of a relationship, particularly if it was tumultuous, you might have to ask yourself, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong if you know you were doing things wrong too? Excuse me, y'all. I gotta get my water in. Yeah, so you may have to ask, what did I do wrong? But my encouragement is to ask yourself, what could I have done differently? So for me, one of the things I knew I needed to stand in accountability on was I used to put my hands on the dudes I dated. I did. You did something I ain't like, I catch you lying. I was Fred Sanford with 5 across your lips. Popping the mouth, punching the face, throwing an ashtray. Like I was bad. I was bad. I was really bad. Out of control, I would say. And that is no way to live. And one of my people told me that the guy I dated, my college sweetheart, we were engaged at one point, but he told me, he said, if I would put my hand on you one of the times that you put your hands on me, you would be calling your people from Richard Allen. If you know, you know. You'll be calling them to come deal with me. Your uncles and your cousins, you'll be calling them to come handle me. And he was absolutely right. Because I had family, my uncles and cousins that would load up and come deal with some stuff for me if I needed them to. I even had brothers, my blood brother and surrogate brothers everywhere that they wasn't having that. You put your hands on me, it was going to be a problem. I think that's another part of dating that is missing too. Sisters that don't have men in their lives like standing down on business for them are more likely to get taken advantage of. I say, you know what, I'm all for being honest. I say in the dating phases today, in today's times, lie. And I can't even believe I said that. I can't stand a liar. But lie and say you got cousins and uncles and whoever, the brothers that don't play about you. Bye. Because when people know you got people that will, when they say, well, like Michelle Obama say, well, when they go low, we go high. When they know you got people, when they go low, your people will go lower. They not going to play in your face the same way. They not going to think about putting their hands on you. They not going to think about stalking you and shattering your windshield. Like some of the stuff that men will do to keep you from leaving them is sick. It's sick. It's best to not even get in a relationship with those people. It's best to not do it. But ladies, I have to tell you, one thing that's sexy in a relationship is accountability. Just like you like accountability from a man, men like it from us too. When we are easy to talk to. I was just watching the Cutlers, I think it is. It's a husband and wife duo court show, and they do relationship trouble or whatever. But it was this sister on there that she seemingly had a good dude. She was some influencer or something, and she seemingly had a good dude. And he mentioned that, he did have some trust issues, because she was out and they were out together, and she commences to rubbing a man's beard. He said, Your Honor, she was rubbing it so much she should have been moisturizing it. All she missed was a massage. That's disrespectful to yourself, your husband, and to that man. Disrespectful. And her response was, I was drunk, so I ain't know. For all I know, it was his beard. So that's what you do when you get drunk? If your plan is not to stop drinking, then we need to divorce. Like, what the Sam Hill is the non-accountability about? It was just disgusting. It's a shame because I didn't see the end of it. I put it on pause and got distracted, but I didn't see the end of it. But it was uncomfortable, the level of disrespect that they both exhibited on one another. She said she started crying, and she knows, like, no man should ever call his wife the B word. And she was like, he knows that I told him that was a trigger for me, because I was called that when I was younger, and that I was abused. So that was a trigger for me. And I was like, oh, until he said, yeah, we call each other that. What in the wretchedness? The wretchedness. Y'all know the word is really wretched, right? Somebody couldn't pronounce it, so they just called it wretched. But it's wretched with a W. But what in the wretchedness is going on here when you're both calling each other the B word? When you got to call your man a B word, ladies, he's not who you should be marrying. That is toxic. Fellas, if you got to call your lady a skeezer in the hole to get her to stop doing, a skeezer in a garden tool? I don't know if that's restricted on here. If you got to call her out her name to get her to stop doing garden tool like things, she is not marriage material. Change your picker. A lot of people are wrapped up in culture and thinking certain things. Like this particular girl on the Cutler, she was a influencer, and he had been following her, so he liked her, and she said he was stalking and whatever. Can I? What? That's what I mean. If you see that comment down there, folks be real ignorant on these streets. Yeah, I just blocked him. Yeah, folks, that's the weird part that I found on TT versus other channels. But I'm gonna take a picture of that, because that's why would somebody type that in the comments? You know what I mean? Like, people just goofy. But yeah, so this girl, she was explaining how she was an influencer, he was a follower. They met in the airport, which indicated, she said he was stalking. So clearly she must have shared too much information on social that he knew when she would be at the airport, because how would he stalk her to get to the airport, like when she was traveling? And she was going to see some other dude, and he met her, and she was like, he asked me for my Cash App. Now that was just goofy to me, but it said that this man probably observed her speaking on what she expected, and so he led with his wallet. He led with his wallet, which really isn't beneficial to anyone. if you leading with your wallet and that's not what your regular heart posture is, you just doing it to impress somebody, you probably dating out of your league. It seemed like he wanted to date a baddie, but his self-esteem wasn't leveled up to be able to get that. He was a very handsome young man, but she said when they got together, well, they was married, she said she went to take a shower and was no hot water. She's like, what happened to the hot water? Oh, I forgot to pay the bill. She was like, well, one thing, he forgot to pay it, but then he didn't have the money to pay it. And I was like even the judges was like, well, what Miss Samuel? And you married him? So she told him, I need to control the finances or else I'm going to get a divorce. Well, did you vet this situation at all to see what this man was, how he handled his affairs, and like not paying the water bill or the gas bill? I think she said it wasn't no water. It might have been no water at all, not just hot water. It's a little irresponsible, right? We gotta change our pickers. He had no business picking somebody who was out of his league, he had an opportunity to get a glimpse of what was probably her curated life of her. I'm getting flown out, da 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 da. I told y'all earlier what I thought about being flown out. You might be being flown into a hotel that's close to his house where he lives with his wife and kids, because I've known men to do that. I've also known a man who had 15 children, and I'm like, how do you date with 15 children? And he was like, I don't tell them about all of them. I tell them about the oldest 5, so they think I got all grown kids. They let me smash, and they end up being 16. I'm like, I can't miss. He like, squirt, squirt, I'm like, you're a walking STD. And I'm not ashamed to say that this was a loved one. May he rest in peace. But he believed in just raw doggity with anyone. That's a walking STD to me. If a man has kids and is not taking care of his kids, that should be something that you use to weed out. What is he going to do when you have a child? Please tap the screen, y'all. Please tap the screen. I really appreciate it. You tapping the screen really helps me to reach my goals. It helps get the message out that I'm live. It changes the algorithms. It really, really helps. I know it's weekend. Some of you guys might be cooking or chilling, so you're not like holding the phone. You might just be listening to me run my mouth, because I don't have a problem talking. That's why I can turn the camera on and just do it. Just do it. But yeah, I think it's very important that I'll share more. I am working on an ebook, vetting for dating and marriage, but I think if we are serious about dating, we should be serious about our boundaries. We should understand that our boundaries are for us, meaning it's our responsibility to enforce those boundaries, not the person that we're dating. It's our responsibility to enforce them, and we have to be ready to do that. Because if we're not ready to enforce the boundaries, what's the purpose of making them? If you show somebody that, okay, you can set boundaries, I can cross them, and you don't do anything, what's that about? You just playing. You need to be willing to handle business. If that means leaving this relationship, then you need to be willing to leave the relationship. That is what's necessary. That's what's necessary. That is what's necessary. It's too much foolery going around. It's not worth it to, thank you for joining the live. It's not worth it to compromise your peace. Don't compromise your peace for the sake of just being in a relationship. I promise you, it's not worth it. You would rather be single wanting to be married than to be married wanting to be single. My pastor used to say that all the time. With my old pastor, he used to say that all the time. You'd rather be single wanting to be married than married wanting to be single. When you marry, you have a greater commitment to make things work. My husband and I have been together 25 years. We don't like each other all the time. Things happen. I slipped in the bathtub, set myself back like a big dog. Compromised mobility. My husband is a candidate for a kidney transplant, so we both dealing with some things. Those things can make marriage difficult. It makes marriage difficult. You don't want to get into that covenant with the wrong person. So it's important to do your research. Don't talk too much. Let them figure things out. Ask intelligent questions. Not where's your favorite vacation spot or your favorite color or your favorite food. I don't care. What are you allergic to? I do care about that because I don't want to feed you nothing that's going to take you out. Or go out and eat something that's going to take you out. I need to know that. But it's plenty of time to find your favorite color. Like if I want to buy you something. But I need to know the substance. Who are you? What's your relationship with your family? What's your relationship with your mom? If you don't have respect for the woman who gave you life, baby, you pale in comparison, I promise. Fellas, you should be asking. Like, there's a taboo about daddy's girls, meaning those who, the reverse of a daddy's girl. So daddy's girls are those who have a really close relationship with their dads, but those who have daddy issues, that's the term they're used. Sadly, there's a lot of that because there's a lot of women that have to stand up and do it on their own. So don't y'all dare just not want to help the sisters that got daddy issues, because some of y'all have mom and still have mommy issues too. And ladies, it's important to understand the difference between a mommy's boy and a boy that loves his mommy. You want the latter. A mommy's boy will finagle all in your relationship and all. She got to know all the ins and outs and the goings-ons, and that's weird. And that can show up in a problematic way in a marriage. When mama's talking, I know all your business. That's a problem. You shouldn't want to know all my marital business, lady. He tells me everything. I'm glad y'all have a tight relationship, but that's weird. You should tell him to keep some stuff between you and your marriage. My closest friend, my 3 childhood besties all went to glory before the age of 40. So crazy. Talk about survivor's remorse. I went through that. My closest living friend, one day I was washing dishes and my husband came in the kitchen and something was going on, and we had a little like, don't worry, babe, I thought like, you know, you go back and forth a little bit, and she was like, oh my god. I was like, what? She was like, y'all arguing. I was like, and she said, I've never heard y'all argue. Okay, what did you? I said, well, you've known me since freshman year in college. Do you think he likes me all the time? Let's just start there. I don't pick up the phone and call. She was like, well, you never called me and told me about nothing going on, so I figured y'all didn't argue. I thought everything was perfect. Girl. At that time, she was single. And I was like, first of all, don't no married person have no business going and telling no single person all their marital business. That shouldn't happen. That just shouldn't happen. You should keep your married business to yourself. Keep your married business to yourself. Handle that on knee bone station. Get down on your knees to handle your marital problems. Don't handle your marital problems by triangulating or calling other people, because let me tell you what I know for sure. Other people don't have the commitment that you have, or the requirement to forgive. You have to forgive and die to self in a marriage. When you're single, you don't have that requirement. You could just leave at any time. That's why people would date for 27 years, because they have fear of commitment. When you marry, it is your responsibility to forgive over and over and over and over and over again. When you are married, it is your responsibility to forgive over and over and over and over and over again. Understand that. And when you forgive and you move past the dilemma, your family and friends, they team you. They didn't forgive. They didn't get past it. They still hold on to it. They didn't forgive. You had to forgive. They didn't. They team you. So they hold on to it. They holding on to it. They like pissed off. Like, I don't like the way she did you. I don't like the way he did you. I don't like this, that, and the other. Yeah. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. So don't go sharing your marital business with your family, with your bestie, with this one, with that one. Everybody don't need to know your marital business. And you need to have some people around you that are team marriage, that are team God, that are team know how to pray and get a prayer through, that's going to help you and not be saying, girl, you should leave them and be single like me. Bro, F them garden tools. The best way to get over one is to get under another one. No, that's not the information you need when you are married. When you are married, you need sound advice. You need solid people in your corner. Solid people in your corner when you're married. Okay, so I think I've shared enough for now. I was trying to stay on for what they say, an hour and 1 minute or something like that. If you need to stay on alive. So I was trying to meet that goal, but I don't have a problem talking. So if ever y'all want to hang out and chat with your girl, I'm going to create a live schedule where I'll let y'all know when I'm going to go live, so you can come and just check me out, ride out with me. We'll pick a topic, we'll talk about it, we'll unpack it. I don't give advice. I have recommendations. I have some life experience. I have some gray hair. I lived through some things, so I can speak on a lot. I know a lot about a lot. And what I don't know about, I usually try to stay away from. So that's me. Thank you for riding out with me. Be kind to one another. You may never know what someone else is going through. Be kind to one another. It's a whole lot of going on right now. Thank you for joining the live. It's a whole lot of going on right now. We need to be kind to one another. We need to support one another. Support each other's businesses. Encourage one another. Saying hello. Giving a smile. Asking, how are you today? It's important. It's important. So, again, thanks for hanging out with me. Forgive my pillow in the camera. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you my pillow. It is so cute. Isn't it cute? Yeah, so that was my comfort for today. I just balled up in my husband's chair and decided to pop on live with y'all. So be kind to one another. You may never know what somebody else is going through. And please come back and visit. Click follow. Go click on my name right now and follow me. You can click at the top and get your daily heart me. You can do all that. I'll give you a minute. May God bless and keep you. Create a wonderful weekend. Peace. Cheers.